my name is Lori Westluty. I have had the privilege of living and working in Haiti for the last 16 years with an organization running a children's home and developing from that children's home some community programs where a word that I have heard a few times tonight and you will continue to hear, where we have seen the joy of seeing lots of families and kids flourish. So we're going to take a minute and I want you to quickly jot down the answer to this question, or this, it's not really a question, but it is. So imagine what the best care would be for a child you know. So we're going to go ahead and get started and show you some pictures and tell you some stories about what's happening in Haiti and how child is a part of that, and by association how you guys are a part of that as well. Go ahead. So the organization that Child supports is called Haiti Children's Home, and a particular part of that program is called a nutrition program, which is a very small name for a really big growing thing. So we'll get into it a little bit more as we go. So to start off, I already had a couple people be like, oh, in Haiti, where are you in Haiti? So if you look at the big orange arrow, that is where we are. So we're really in the middle of the middle. We're in Mirebalais. We're about an hour from Port-au-Prince. Pretty quiet area most of the time. We've been pretty protected from a lot of the violence and hostility that has been going on in Haiti for the last number of years. But we've had to deal with it in different ways. But that's not really part of what we're talking about today. Okay, so very quickly, this is Haiti. And when we get into all of this stuff and we see all of these pictures with all these kids and all these things going on, I want you to keep this in your mind. It's really easy for us to go into these kinds of events and these kinds of presentations, and we're talking about the sad and the grief and the loss and the violence and all these things going on in these places, but those things are not what those places are. They're what those places are experiencing, but it is not what they are. So take a photo of this picture and put it in your head, and when you leave here, carry it with you, as well as the next picture, because after the most beautiful places in Haiti, there is also the most beautiful people in Haiti. And we're going to be talking about these people and why they're important to us and how you guys are part of seeing these people flourish. So the most important factor for children to thrive and flourish already exists, and that's the family. And so we're going to talk a lot today about families and how we work with supporting families to flourish and for children to flourish within their families. So there's an organization that our organization has been partnering with called Faith to Action, and they're doing a lot of work around the world as far as talking about families and how we need to be working with families and supporting families and empowering families. So scripture, life experience, and years of academic research all agree children need love, a sense of belonging, the experience of family, and connection to community in order to thrive into adulthood. So there's some pretty big threats to the family around the world, but specifically in Haiti, we're going to talk about three, and we're going to highlight one. So the first one is violence. We've been hearing about Haiti in the news for the last number of months. We've been hearing about Haiti in the news for the last number of years. Things kind of just keep going from bad to worse and worse to worser. I know worser is not a word, but really that's what it is, it's worser. And that for sure affects the family and the family unit. But we're going to go on to number two, which is trauma. This exists everywhere in the world. It seems exacerbated in Haiti. But it's not really although it could be the focus of what we're talking about. We're going to go on to number three, which is poverty. And there's a little quote that I just heard recently. You can go ahead and put the next button. I was at a conference in Tennessee just recently with some other organizations working in Haiti. And this was actually a quote from a young man from another organization that grew up in an orphanage. And this is what he said: there is no child poverty, there's only adult parent poverty. And so his organization is working a lot about that. And so that just kind of really struck home for me, realizing that so much of what we're doing is about educating parents and empowering parents and encouraging parents, and how that really changes what really the future of a child looks like. Okay, so we're going to quickly talk about malnutrition in Haiti. About half of the population, they say, that struggles with food security every day. So food security is knowing when you're going to eat next and where your next meal is going to come from. Okay. So things that affect that are poverty, politics, growing season, lots of imported food. Haiti has a lot of issues with relying on imported supplies. Low food diversity, so eating a lot of the same things, not providing the nutrients that are really needed. This is a big one that leads to our program. So in Haiti, only about 40% of babies are exclusively breastfed, or even really breastfed at all. If you go to the next one, some of the reason is that because in a lot of families, there's a lot of single parent families. Mothers are the sole breadwinners, and when they have a baby, they cannot stay home to breastfeed a baby. They have to go to work to supply the needs of the rest of their family. And so they forego breastfeeding in order to be able to continue to do that, to support the rest of their family. Resources are just really low, and access to any kind of social supports too doesn't really exist. So this leads to only 11% of babies and toddlers receiving the minimum acceptable diet. That's a really small number. That's a really small amount of kids. Stop and think about that for a second. 11%. So what do you think happens when 11% of kids get a minimum acceptable diet? You can talk. This can be interactive. What do you guys think happens? I think it's pretty obvious, right? The big M word. They become malnourished. Okay? They're undernourished, and then they become malnourished, which then leads to orphanage placement. So we're not going to get too much into that end of things, but this is one thing that our organization has kind of switched gears in the last 10 years to reduce orphanage placement in our community, to reduce the barriers to children staying in families. So really quickly, I want you guys to all look at those little pieces of paper that you wrote what you would consider important factors to be a part of a child's care. And then I want you to raise your hand if you wrote putting them in an orphanage. I don't see anybody. Okay, so that's a pretty sobering, quick little exercise. And I participated in this recently. And I was like, wow, that was really powerful. Because it made me, even though I've been doing this work for a long time, it made me realize, like, there's a lot of people who think like me, and my worldview has really changed in my last 16 years in Haiti. But a lot of us think similar things without realizing that we think that. So we're going to go to the next slide. So this is Luzhny, and this is where the exciting story of the nutrition program takes place. And I'm totally using more than 10 minutes, Tyler. Okay, so we're on 10 minutes right now, and we're just getting going here, but I promise I won't be ridiculous. Okay, so this is Luzhny. About 12 years ago, her mom came to the gate at the orphanage with this little black garbage bag with everything that Luzhny owned. And she knocked on the gate, and the guard came and said, "Madam, there's a madam at the front gate with the baby." And I was like, okay, yep. So I went to the front, and there was this lady with this little baby, and I said, "Yes, what can I do to help you?" And she's like, "I came here to give my baby to the orphanage," and proceeded to burst into tears. And I said, "You don't really look like you want to give your baby up here. Like, why are you actually here?" And she's like, "No, I came to give my baby to the orphanage." So we kind of had this discussion for a while, and then I said, "Why are you actually here?" And she said, "Well, I have 3 other kids. Their dad is not in the picture. I sell charcoal. I need to go to the market to sell charcoal to feed the rest of my kids. I I cannot stay home with this baby and I don't have money to buy formula to leave her with my mom. So, can you please take my baby? And I took a really big breath and I said, hey God, we're doing this thing, okay? And I said, if I give you formula every week and you come for a checkup, will you keep your baby? And she looked at me like I was from another planet. And she was like, you would do that? And I'm like, yeah, I would. And she's like, every week? I said, yes. She said, okay. And that was how the nutrition program started. I was like, we're changing things. We have to do better. We have to do something different. So, Lucy was our first baby in the officially unofficial milk program. And I wrote our board back here in Canada. I was like, hey, I did a thing. And they were like, great. And I was like, really? Okay, I'm gonna do it again. And so that's what we did. So over the next slide. So we got to see Lucy start to gain weight. She stopped being fed sugar water. She was drinking milk. Go ahead. We got to see her develop into a very healthy, happy little girl. And best of all, she was being raised by her family. Okay, keep going. So this is the lineup for the milk program where moms come. This was at our old site, but this is where moms would come to for like a well baby check, education about anything you can think of related to parenting, nutrition, medication, vaccines, like everything, and lots of repeated information. And so this program started to grow and grow and grow. Okay. So this little girl lived just behind the orphanage, and her name is Najli. And Najli came to us in 2013, and some people might see that photo initially and be like, oh, that's kind of a cute, chubby little girl. Except that little girl is not chubby. She is full of water. She is full of fluid retention because she doesn't have enough protein in her diet. So this little girl made me have to learn a lot of things really, really fast and call some people that I knew that did this kind of work and be like, what do I do? And they said, well, the fastest, best thing to do that you can do every single day for her is make sure she eats peanut butter. So, go ahead. We started giving her peanut butter. Any brand, any jar, anywhere, locally made, imported, anytime we could find peanut butter, we gave her peanut butter. And she came every week for peanut butter. And then we had to make rules that she had to come to the orphanage to eat the peanut butter because everybody in her house was eating the peanut butter. Anyways, she began to heal. Go ahead. And this is her and her sister. So we also started to use Manipacks, and Child used to help provide funding for Manipacks, but we haven't been able to get them for about 4 years because of Haiti, being Haiti, sadly, and ports and theft and insecurity. So, but they were part of that first program where we're like, oh, we have babies graduating, but some of them are doing really, really good, and some of them we're not sure we want to follow them, so we started using Manipacks, which are protein fortified rice packs. Okay, this is Ashley. A few weeks later, if you can believe that. That's just the same little girl. Okay, keep going. This is Najli. A little while later, this is with her mom and her siblings. Okay, keep going. This is her in grade 5. And guess what? She's still at home. And that is where Medica Mamba came in. So instead of like running around town like crazy people trying to find peanut butter all the time, we found an organization that was getting established in Haiti that was actually making a special kind of peanut butter called Mamba in Haiti that had been researched and measured and proven, and we started being able to purchase this to use, and our feeding sort of program actually grew into like real bona fide nutrition program. Okay, keep going. So this little pack right here is a little package of peanut butter. That little package is about this big. So you know when you go to like the grocery store and you're in the lineup and you see like, ooh, 100 calories chocolate bar? Yes, I'll take that one. Ooh, 100 calories, no problem, right? This is 500 calories right here in this little thing of peanut butter. And some kids are eating 3, 4, 5, or 6 of them a day, depending on their weight and their tolerance as well. Okay? And as you can see, keep going. They like it. It's pretty good. Even the little ones, sometimes it takes a little while for them to get used to it. We have to use some other methods sometimes to get them going dietary-wise, because there's a lot of aversion to food and lots of different things going on as part of their nutritional status, but we can keep going. So this is a quick rundown of to help you guys understand what is in a package of Mamba. So there's 2 hamburger patties. This is the equivalent in one of those packages. 2 McDonald's hamburger patties, 8 pats of butter, a half a chicken breast, 3 cups of milk, 1 small orange, 1 bunch of spinach, 9 asparagus spears, half a cup of olive oil, 1.5 medium carrots, and a partridge in a pear tree. But that's what's all in that little tiny little package, and this is changing the lives of these children and their families. So we're going to do a quick rundown on how the nutrition program works. So people who are in the program or people who have heard about the program come and line up at the gate, outside the front gate, and wait for the program to start. It's word of mouth. There's no admission criteria. Kids come through and have an assessment, and we decide if they need to be placed or not be placed in the program. So they all line up and then they get moved to the clinic building. This is me and 2 of our nurses, the dream team we like to call ourselves. So Ninel on the left, he's worked with us for about 8 years, and Mr. Hollande on the right. Oops. I had the privilege of training her. She is an RN. I had never worked with malnourished kids before, so I had the privilege of training her for a year, and she is a godsend, literal godsend. She runs that program like she invented the program. Like, it is her program, she loves it, and since being here in Canada, we have just seen her flourish, and families just love her and trust her. And that is the most important part of this whole program, is the trust component. Okay, go ahead. So this is them just being them. I was like, guys, I need some more pictures. So this is just like showing moms how to make bottles, weighing babies. They come in for assessments, a lot of education, so much education. I think it was Anne-Marie that said before, or maybe it was somebody else just talking about education, like when you educate parents, educate kids, and then they become parents, and then they help to educate the whole family. And so that is really what happens. So there's some quick numbers of what a month kind of looks like, a nutrition program. Between 300 and 400 kids we see a month. So like in September we saw 106 new kids, but out of those 106 new kids we admitted 18 kids to the program. Some of them were there for other issues besides malnutrition, and some of them we put on what we call our watch list. So we put them on our watch list and we see them again in a month. And if we're concerned, then we put them in another program. These are just families. I just want you guys to see these families, and these families are all together because of this nutrition program. These children are not placed in orphanages. These children are not sent to other family members across Haiti. These children are not given to neighbors. These children are with their families. Their lives are not easy. Their lives are not what we would, probably a lot of the things that you wrote down on that card, maybe they don't have them, but they have a mom or a dad. They have someone who loves them and who is prioritizing them. They have a mom or a dad or an aunt or a grandma that believes that they are enough. This little peanut butter bar is just like this little tiny little thing. Doesn't seem very significant, although the boxes are like really heavy. And there's about 150 of them in a box, and they are not light. But this little peanut butter bar has opened the doors to so much being done for preserving families. And families that deserve to see that they deserve to be together, and families that deserve to see that the last image of their child doesn't have to be of this like terribly sick, unhealthy child. They deserve to see their child flourishing. These are all things, whether you capture this or not in this little brief encapsulation of what's happening with the nutrition program. But all of these things are happening because of the nutrition program that you guys support. Every single one of these things happens in our community because of things that you guys have decided to be a part of. It's really amazing, and it's really been an amazing thing to be a part of, to see it grow, to see people step into the desire, I guess, to look at helping in a different way, of supporting in a different way. Okay, we'll keep going. So this is Luznia, remember? Okay. is her and her mom. I saw that you guys actually highlighted her story in one of your pamphlets back there. I was at a church thing and I hadn't seen Lucy since she was like 3. And this little girl came running up to me and wrapped herself around me, and I was like, okay, like it's not the first time it's happened to me, but I'm like, okay. And she was like, like just saying all these different things, and I was like, what? And then I saw her mom coming, and I was just like, because I was like, this is Lucy, oh my goodness! And it was just like so lovely, and I got to meet her brother, and yeah, it just like really hit home for me what this program does. And this is Natalie when she came. And this is Natalie a couple weeks ago coming to get her picture taken for school. And this is Natalie with her family. Oh, there's one more word, but I'm not sure where it went. It said, because families matter. That's why we do this program. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for listening to my more than 10 minutes. Thank you for believing in something that you can't see, that you entrust other people doing in a different place. And I hope that this little, not 10-minute talk will encourage you to think about how you think about caring for others, and how you can care for others in a really meaningful way that maybe looks different than what you always thought, but that these families are just like your family. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being a part of Child. Child, thank you for asking me to do this. And yeah, thank you for your support over the last 5 or 6 years too. Thank you.